The chilly December night carried a sharp winter sting as Nathan Harper strolled to his vehicle. After another exhausting day at Harper Solutions, at 42, Nathan had transformed his consulting business into one of the area's top enterprises. Yet tonight, his thoughts lingered on the financial reports awaiting him at home, not the scene unfolding at the bus stop across the road. What he witnessed there would reshape his understanding of what true success meant and the duties it entailed. A young woman in medical attire sat slumped on the bench, visibly drained beyond the point of staying alert. She seemed in her late 20s, with dark hair draped over her face as she dozed uneasily in the cold. Her teal scrubs and white coat identified her as a healthcare worker, and the weariness carved into her sleeping expression hinted at someone stretched far beyond ordinary limits. Nathan paused by his car, observing as other passers-by rushed past, seemingly oblivious to the weary healthcare worker. The scene stirred something profound in Nathan's heart, not just the image of someone so fatigued they couldn't stay awake at a bus stop, but what it revealed about the grueling conditions leading to such exhaustion. As Nathan stood there, the woman shifted slightly, trembling in the cold despite her coat. She glanced at her phone, realizing she'd been asleep, and looked around with the dazed confusion of someone more worn out than they'd known. Nathan made a choice that felt both essential and just. He approached the bus stop cautiously, careful not to startle her. "Pardon me," Nathan said softly. "Are you okay? It's quite chilly to be waiting out here." The woman lifted her gaze, her weary hazel eyes struggling to focus despite her fatigue. "I'm all right, thank you. Just waiting for the bus home." "How long have you been here?" Nathan inquired, noticing her continued shivering. "I'm not certain, honestly," she admitted, slightly embarrassed. I might have nodded off. "I just finished a 16-hour shift at the hospital, and sometimes the tiredness overtakes you." Nathan felt a pang in his chest. 16 hours, that's an incredibly long shift. The woman offered a faint smile. "I'm Dr. Leela Bennett, a resident at City General. Long shifts are part of residency training, but some days hit harder than others." "I'm Nathan Harper," he responded, introducing himself. "Dr. Bennett, this might seem forward, but would you let me drive you home? It doesn't feel safe for you to be this exhausted while commuting." Leela hesitated, clearly balancing her exhaustion with the caution of accepting aid from a stranger. "That's very generous, Mr. Harper, but I don't want to trouble you." "It's no trouble," Nathan assured her earnestly. "I'd feel better knowing you got home safely." During the 20-minute drive to Leela's modest apartment, Nathan learned about the harsh realities of medical residency he'd never considered. Leela shared the grueling schedules residents faced, the financial strain of medical school loans, and the commitment required to balance training with patient care. "Most people don't realize," Leela said as they drove through quiet streets, "residents often work 80 to 100 hours a week, earning less than minimum wage when you break it down hourly. We do it for our love of medicine and to help others, but it's physically and emotionally draining." Nathan reflected on his own employees, his emphasis on work-life balance, and how vastly different Leela's world was from his corporate realm. "Dr. Bennett," Nathan said as they reached her apartment complex, "would it be appropriate to ask about the conditions residents face at City General? Not to intrude, but to see if the community could offer support." Leela looked surprised. "That's very kind, Mr. Harper. Most don't think about what happens behind hospital doors." What Nathan discovered in the following weeks reshaped his view of how healthcare workers were supported, or rather, how little support they received during training. Nathan researched the conditions medical residents face nationwide, learning that Leela's experience was sadly common: long hours, low pay, and scarce resources for basic needs like meals or transportation during extended shifts. But beyond understanding the issues, Nathan resolved to act. 3 months later, Nathan unveiled the Harper Foundation for Healthcare Worker Support, dedicated to offering practical aid to medical residents and nurses in training. The foundation provided transportation vouchers for healthcare workers during late shifts, meal programs for staff working long hours, emergency financial aid for residents facing unexpected costs, and comfortable rest areas in hospitals for staff between shifts. Nathan's most groundbreaking initiative was the Healthcare Hero Housing Program. offering affordable, safe housing near major hospitals with reliable transit for medical residents and nursing. Students, Mr. Harper, Leela said when she called to thank him 6 months later. I can't believe you built all this just from seeing me asleep at a bus stop. Dr. Bennett, Nathan replied. That night showed me that our community must support those who care for us in our most vulnerable moments. You and your colleagues sacrifice so much. The least we can do is ensure safe transport, proper meals, and places to rest. Leela became one of the Foundation's first advisory board members, helping design programs that met healthcare workers' real needs, not just assumptions. 2 years later, healthcare journals praised the Harper Foundation's innovative approach to improving resident welfare, highlighting its practical programs and measurable impact. But Nathan always smiled when reading those articles, knowing the real story was simpler and more human. Sometimes, the most impactful business decisions aren't made in boardrooms, but at bus stops. On cold winter nights, when we pause to notice that those caring for our community need care too, and when we invest not in stocks or bonds, but in supporting the heroes who heal others, we make a difference. Leela kept a photo from the Foundation's first anniversary on her desk, not for recognition, but as a reminder that communities thrive when people care for one another, and a single act of noticing can spark changes that help thousands. The Foundation grew, expanding to support healthcare workers in nearby cities, but its core mission remained unchanged, ensuring those who dedicate their lives to caring for others receive the community support they deserve so they can focus on healing and helping those in need.